let's discuss It's Happening Out's hot topic this week. It's sponsored by the American retail chain Hot Topic. With nearly 700 locations specializing in counterculture-related clothing and accessories, representing many varied interests of the LGBTQ+ community, including music, movies, graphic artists, gaming, and more, Hot Topic features one of the largest collections of Pride merchandise that celebrates all aspects of our LGBTQ+ community. Hot Topic is a major supporter of the diversity of our community and supports many events, festivals, and nonprofit LGBTQ+ organizations. And that is why they are the sponsor of It's Happening Out's Hot Topic this week. A profile in Queer Women of Color's chat room at Reddit asked a question that has to be answered by all of us. The question asked, quote, "How did you feel giving up the expectation of a heteronormative relationship and life?" End quote. The Reddit user said she was attracted to multiple genders, but has only been in heterosexual relationships. Now, in spite of knowing the discrimination the community faces, she wants to stay with the woman she loves. She is POC, queer, and suffers from mental illness, and her love interest gets it. Her heterosexual partner was aware of these things too, but it took some work to get used to. Now she asks, how can one cope with this change and let go of the life one always imagined? This week's hot topic is heteronormative relationship standards. Can they be toxic to our community? Are they toxic?
They can be to the community in the aspect where, as she said, she had to readjust from not being defensive and explaining her mental illness, her sexuality, her gender identity to her partner, where in the straight relationship, you know, the guy probably was like, oh, okay, whatever, and then didn't really care to listen or understand. But as queer people in a whole, we have to understand these as we go through it day-to-day life, where we understand, I can relate to you on this aspect, let me tell you this story, and then you can relate to some aspects, and we can have a conversation about it, not just, okay.
You know, straight people, hetero couples it's easier to be hetero, okay? I mean, that's the bottom line. I'm sorry to tell you, you know, I don't have to tell anybody at this table that, all right? How about that, right? I dated men.
Well, maybe Trini.
Maybe Trini,
well,
you know, he's still coming out. But, you know, I dated men. I dated men for a long time. I've always liked I always liked men and women, right? I've loved it all, to be completely honest, right? But the reality is that a woman was more nurturing and was more there when I needed her. Okay, and she just swept me off my feet, and I fell in love with her and got married with the Cuban. But it could have gone either way. The reality is that I had no issue with the penis. I love me a good penis, right? Bang me up against the wall. Let's do this. 10 minutes or more, I'm good, yes. Right?
Yes.
But what's attached to the penis is all the man stuff and all the stuff that comes along with it. I didn't want to be with that for the rest of my life. So if I had to choose, right, I went this way, which is not normal in today's life, right? I'm sorry, I dated men that with a blowjob and a sandwich, they were fine, they left me alone, and I got to go out and do my thing. It's not the same thing when you date a woman.
And so here, again, women for the win. Definitely women for the win, because the toxicity that comes with you have to be hetero, you have to love this way, you have to do this, and I'm very much like you dated both, and everything in between, and everybody, every box. But the most nurturing, the most loving, the most understanding is woman, period, is a woman. And being someone who's black and brown, you're from the beginning that you're born, throughout your life, the questions are, when are you gonna have babies? When are you getting married? When are you gonna do this? Where's your girlfriend? Let me meet your boyfriend, all those kind of things. And so having to unpack that and say, you know what, no, this person can't love me like this person can, and I realize I'm leaning towards this. It's very hard within that kind of community, because you're expected to. The heteros tell you from church, the moment that you're Christian, you have to live a certain way. Or the moment you're baptized, that's the expectation. And until we rewrite those normative conversations and say, you know what, just love and be happy. Just be you, and I support you and I love you. That is only when this woman and this other women like her is going to be able to have that conversation. Say, you know what, this person, my same gender-loving person loves me because of my craziness and all.
Yeah, but she also have mental health issues, right? And being someone with the same sex, you have to come out every single day, all day, every single day. Mm-hmm. You know, when you're dating in a hetero relationship, no one questions you like that.
You know, it's interesting to me in a little bit of a different way. When jokes aside, the jokes that y'all are going to tell, I was really good with girls in high school, and I was really good with girls in college. And the two reasons, besides having a large penis, is that I was funny and I was always joking. And girls like to laugh. And second, I was slow enough to make someone feel comfortable. And I always paid attention to the girl, always. I liked doing that. And it's interesting to me in this heteronormative kind of thing that the Reddit poster challenges is that I just didn't want the sexual experience. I liked the girl. I liked this aspect of the girl, of the playfulness and the relationship. I liked the slowness of the approach of the relationship. I just didn't like any of the real stuff.
You didn't get turned on that way.
It was right, exactly kind of the opposite of what you're saying that you needed. I needed the real, harder embracement. And it's so funny because I empathize with the poster because we have these self-imposed standards that this is what we should expect.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. It was never my feelings. It was never what I delivered. It was like, well, I could have this relationship with this girl, and I hope the guy that comes in and I tag off to is great for you because this is all I want to do. And that's what we face.
I agree. And so, we as men identify, and I hate to say the stereotype, asexual, we can take it, hit it or quit it, and we're gone. Whereas the woman is more nurturing. So I'm very much kind of in between. I love the softness of the woman. I love the understanding of the woman. But I never wanted to hurt the woman, only because I knew where my feelings lie. And although in heteronormative lifestyle, often more women are not ready to be open to, you can go out with John tomorrow and then go out with me today. So it was easier for me to pull back. And so I think now, until we realize that men, we have to stop. Instead of just throwing you away, let me hear about your mental illness. Let me hear where you are. And we can work through it together.
Completely.
I think that I'm out a little bit on y'all's tip as well. Like the women, well, not yours, but women parts, I'm into women parts. But I'm not into.
You have some probably.
I'm not into the women behind them because of the way that they are sometimes. They can be incredibly annoying and moody and bitchy. So that's part of it of what I didn't want in the relationship. I liked the.
You wanted to be the girl.
The boys weren't moody or bitchy?
Huh? No, not where I.
Because I can tell you from personal experience.
No. I got you. In the gay world, yes. In the before you get there.
I got a list of 20.
But I'll tell you what was interesting to me, and it wasn't quite this woman's experience, but when I first came out, and I came out of the whole religion and all that stuff, I started dating guys, and I started putting that whole heteronormative, all I'm gonna change is the gender, and I'm not going to change anything else. And I was already in a depression because I had just come out, and maybe for about 7 months or so. And then in the dating world, having that kind of heteronormative standard, it put me further into depression. And I kept expecting, Disney's to blame for this too. I was expecting that I was going to be in a relationship within a few months. I was expecting that this is how we're going to treat each other, and not realizing, when you have two of the same type of, not to stereotype everybody, but when you have two of the same type of testosterone fueled, it's different than being with a girl, and it's different the messaging that we grew up with, social messaging. Yeah. And so that was really difficult for me, and I had to probably after the first 2 years just strip myself of any kind of expectation of what it's supposed to be and rebuild it from the beginning, and then I finally became healthy about it.
I want to move on, but one observation that I would make to all of us and to this poster in Reddit, we are taught to perform this way. We are educated to perform this way. We are ground down to perform this way. And that's really what is at issue here. If we were able, we are taught from a very young age, capitulate, accept, fit in, be the normative of whatever that normative is. Surrender.
Basically.
Even. And at the end of the day, if we could just say in a much better way, not in a mean-spirited way, not in any other way other than, please fuck off and get out of my life. And I'll be okay if you'll stay out of my life and you'll still like and love me. We would be so much better off. That's the point, I think, of the challenge that this Redditor posed, that I want to experiment with what my life can be without the norms that you're trying to place on me. And the moment you try to place norms on me, what's the difference in slavery? You're trying to put me in chains and say, this is what I'm going to be. And that never works.
One last thing, can we just give her props for being 40 plus and coming out also? Because
Exactly.
most people are like, whatever, I'm not going to do this.
Yeah,
It's too hard.
Exactly. And that's why we do this story, and we love the story. And we wish you all the success. And be in Reddit, because there's lots of interesting conversations going on there. We are Queer News Tonight, the world's first and only live daily LGBTQ+ evening news show, brought to you from Happening Out Television Network. We operate in the same model of PBS and NPR, but for the LGBTQ+ community. We educate, inform, and entertain by supporting the 10 pillars of our LGBTQ+ community, with more than 100,000 a week watching us on Roku, Apple Television, and other channels. To keep the story going, we accept donations with 100% transparency. Stay updated and live authentically with Queer News Tonight.